button, and I'm going to share my screen. So to begin, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to go to the main page of the website. So you'll notice this is just the regular ACPE website. Okay, and there are a couple of ways that you're going to be able to get to the annual reports. One is right here on the top middle right-hand side where it says Submit Your Annual Report with BoardEffect. Two, under the Accreditation tab, when you go over it, it's Submit Your Annual Report. Okay, so you can go either way. It'll take you to the same place. And if you're not logged into the website, it's going to ask you to log in, and that's where the key is. So I am logged in. So when I click on this link, it's going to bring me into the directions and everything, and you'll see this is what we sent out via email. Okay, learn how to access, and here are all the links if you need help, if you want to join another session, if you want to get instructions that you can print or do anything like that. To get in, we're going to click on the Sign In to Access BoardEffect. And that's going to take us to the real login page, so it's through a couple of different firewalls. And then I'm going to click Access BoardEffect. Okay, and that's going to take me directly into BoardEffect. BoardEffect is a software platform that we found sort of by chance at a trade show last year for the Association of Association Executives. And we brought it back and we piloted with the Accreditation Commission and with the board. And it's used for meetings. So there's a lot of features in here that we're not going to use, but it's also document submissions. And Mary Stewart in particular, but anybody else who works on certification, put on a second hat because we're also looking at possibly using this for certification documents, because access to this is far easier than anything else that we've been able to use. So we're also going to look at that afterwards. So when you log in, you'll notice that it is an ACPE site, okay? And my name is up here in the upper right-hand corner. So this is my username, it's Mark Demo. And this is my landing page when I first log in. For the most part, you're going to ignore what's on this page. Okay, the important part is over here on the left side column where it says My BoardEffect, and My BoardEffect is just your first landing page. Below it, you have the word Workrooms. Okay, and every center has a workroom. And the way we set that up is under regions. We're keeping the regions for accreditation purposes at this point. There are regions, and then under that is your center's workroom. You have access to your workroom, your regional chair will have access, and those people reviewing your documents will have access, but nobody else can. So when you look at mine, I have a sample accreditation region, and I have an ABC sample center. Now we have 304 other users, but you would not know it based on my login. I can't see anything else that's here. If I use my regular login, I would see all the centers on this column. So it's very good in terms of security of what it allows you to see and what it doesn't. So the first thing I'm going to go is to the left column. I'm going to go right to my center so I can get to it. So this will take me to the next landing page, which is a welcome for my particular center. Okay, and across the top, you'll see we have a home button, an events button, which we're not using. This is where the commission set up meetings and things like that. Library, which is where we're going to upload our documents if we have any supporting documents. And then collaborate, we're also not using at this point for this. That's where we created some of the documents, but that's not something you need to worry about. On the right-hand column, you'll see my name is here, the Mark Demo with the ACPE logo.
Mark, I'm sorry, could you go over those things one more time?
Which at the top?
Yeah.
Yep. The home button, which brings you to the main page. The events button, which we're not using, but that's to set up other things that the commission uses. The library, which we'll come back to. This is where you upload documents that you're going to be doing. And then the collaborate is where I create some of the documents, but not that you'll be using. But I can't hide them if you're going to have access to things, so I can't manipulate it that way. Does that help?
Yes, thanks
Okay.
so much.
Sure. On the right-hand column is my name here, and then anybody else who will be given access to your workroom. So when I add the regional chair, their name will show up here. When I put the reviewers in, their names will show up, and these are the people who have access to what's here. Okay, so you sort of can monitor and see what's going on. So the welcome message right here for the ABC Sample Center is a copy of the directions. So if you come in and you're forgetting what you're doing, you can read these directions. The first part is all about how to fill out the form. The second is how to upload your documents. But where we're going to start is we're going to scroll towards the bottom of the page to My Polls and Surveys. Okay, and the annual report, Appendix 1, is set up as a survey. You don't need to do any PDFs. You're not filling out any forms that are not contained within BoardEffect. And that's one of the great advantages of the program. So now I have 4. It says View All here. It says 4, but you'll see only 3 are showing up on my screen. So I'm going to actually click on the View All to expand the view. It'll open it up into a new window so I can see all of the different things. Now, the reason I have multiples, just a couple. One, these are from my 2 demos. These are the main reports that I'll be doing. Set 2, if you have components or satellites, each of those sites has its own form that gets filled out. And in order for BoardEffect to be effective, each one will be here for you. So if you have 3 components, you're going to find Appendix 1 Annual Center Report Component Site -1, -2, and -3, so that you can go in and fill each one out and have it there. So one of the things when you log in is you'll check to make sure you have the right number. Okay, we did it, everything about BoardEffect was set up manually. So while I think we're pretty accurate, if we made a mistake, you'll want to let us know and we can fix it. And if we don't have enough for you, we'll add it. And if we have too many for some reason, if we got overzealous, we also want to take it out so that it doesn't look like you didn't respond. Same thing with satellite. You could have a satellite and a component, or you could have multiple satellites or multiple components, but you'll have these. Every center will have one that says Appendix 1 Annual Center Report 2016. Yours won't say demo, but mine does. Okay, so that's what you'll have here, and if, depending on the numbers, what you'll be able to see. So to begin, you'll click on the title, and that will take you to the next form. Now this is a fillable form, and this works really well. You'll type directly into the boxes or choose from the drop-down. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in some of them to be able to do that. And then you'll notice that the red asterisk is required. So if there's a red asterisk on any of them, that's something that is required that you have to fill out. And if you don't fill something in, you can't submit it. So even if you have, say, there's nothing for me to say here, or a 0 or something along those lines, you must put a value in. And then at the top, I didn't mention this, also says, this is for a pre-accredited center, an institutional center, a system center, and freestanding center. Satellites and components are a slightly different form. Okay, all of this information is the same on Appendix 1, except you'll find out that there's less information on here than previously. We're not asking for the ID numbers, we're not asking for addresses, because it's all contained directly within the system already. We have it all. We don't need to ask you to repeat, and reinvent the wheel. So I put my center in, it's ABC Center, and then I'm going to check off the region. Somebody have a question? Okay, I'm going to choose a region, so I'll say Pacific region. And then I'm going to read each question. And it's important to read them because there are different things that occur here. So one thing is we want you to check your directory listing, because not every center checks it and sometimes things aren't correct. So we want to have you say that you've checked it. So you'll say yes. If for some reason you're not going to check it, you want to be defiant and you say, no, I'm not going to check it. If you click no, then you need to tell us why. And what the program has is a feature called leave comment. And under any question that might need a narrative, you can click on the button to leave comment, and it opens up a box. Okay, and this is where you'll type in your response so that it's with the question for which you said yes or no, depending on what the question is. So you would type in, okay, I can write in anything I want to, and that's what will show up. And then you can go on. Now, if I say yes or no, the computer is not smart enough to know that I have to put a comment. We're relying on you to actually do that. If it says, if no, do a comment, and if yes, do a comment. So you'll have to actually read the questions. Then you'll scroll down, and these boxes, by the way, will expand. You can continue to write as much as you need, and they won't get bigger, but they'll scroll. So you'll be able to do that. And because it's all electronic, you're able to continue to do that. The other piece that you can do with this, which people have said they really like, is you can do this in Microsoft Word. You can write your narrative responses and then just cut and paste it into the box. Okay, so that you're able to do that if you want to, just have the questions and write it separately in a different document. If you have components, you're going to list them down, and it reminds you have to do a separate form. Satellites, you'll also list them. The name and title of the administrator. So you'll put that in. Now you'll choose the center type. And again, most of you are going to be institutional or system, okay? We don't have very many pre-accredited, and we don't have very many freestanding. So if you think you're one of those, double check with your regional chair before you choose one of those, but for the most part, it's institutional or system center. So I'm going to say it's an institutional center. And then you're going to go through and answer all the questions, okay? So these are the same questions that you have on the current Appendix 1. Did you do a review? Let's say, sure. Let's put the date in. Did we have any changes? Here's the list of stuff. documentation required for these things, so I'll show you where we upload that when we get to the end. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to make this an easy one. I'm going to say no. You know, no changes, no this, no that. Now, when you come to policies and procedures and program evaluation, you'll see that it's a paragraph size box. You must enter something here. So if you had no changes to policies and procedures since the last report, just write, maybe in English or spelling correctly. All right, and I'm going to leave this next one blank on purpose so I can show you what it looks like afterwards. Actually, I won't do that here. I'm going to just write something, and then I'll leave a different one. But I have to put something in there. Then the next question, do you have any concerns? If you say yes, tell us what those concerns are. Again, click on the leave comment to open the box. Have you had any notations? If you have, you click yes. If you haven't, no, in the last year. And then you put in the standards for which you were assigned notations. Then you'll click, when were they responses due? Was it last year? Is it the coming year? If you need to, you can leave a comment if it was over more than one time. If you have two of these, you can say it was March and September because we had two different notations for different things, and this is how we're handling it. If they've been removed, you want to indicate that and which ones were removed. Were there other accreditation actions? If yes, again, you want to leave a comment. A pre-accredited center, do you have any deficiencies? This is a yes, no, or not applicable. Okay, again, you're going through. I'm just zipping through because you can all read these on your own. I'm just showing you how it will work. Any complaints, we're going to say no, because we've had a good center and we follow all the standards. So everything we do is on the up and up. Then one change that happened in the form was under the finances. And we took out the regional question and the national question. Because now all finances are consolidated in the national office, we just said are all fees paid and is your center in good standing? So it's a general question for both. If the answer is no, then again, you'll click to leave a comment. Okay, that's pretty simple to do that. You're going to respond, what units did you offer? So let's say I offered 2 extended units, 5 students each. All right, and I didn't offer supervisory because I'm not accredited for it, so I'm just going to put a 0 in the supervisory column. If I had, I would put in what units they were. Faculty members met the 50-hour requirement, of course, so I would say yes. Now, completion rates. This is the part where you have to pull out your calculator or have your numbers ready. Yes, of course, we met the threshold, and I'm going to put numbers for each of these. So I have 25 students, 25 completed orientation, 25 received credit, 100% who completed. We're doing really well in my center this year. We had no aberrations. Now, if I had a student who didn't receive credit, who completed orientation, here's where my explanation goes, okay, so it goes in the box below. It's not a required box, as you'll see, because you might not need to use it. So we rely on you to know that you need to use it and put it in. For supervisory, sorry?
Mark, can this form be saved if someone is partway through it and doesn't have time to complete it?
Yep. I'll show you that, and I can skim down and show you right at the bottom, save progress.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. So then supervisory, because we're not accredited, I'm just going to put 0s in. And I don't have to put any explanations. Now list all the agreements. So let's say I have a placement agreement at St. Joseph's Hospital. Five students, May to September. Okay, you can type it nicer than I did to make it look nice, but this is where you put it in. You can put in again whatever you need. If you need to attach the copies because you did, that's where we'll go to that part next. Okay, I'll show you where to do that, but you must put something in here. So if you have none, just say we had no agreements. We had no clinical placements or anything like that.
Mark, if we had placements, but we've already sent agreements for that location in past years, do we have to upload this again?
So that's a question that you're going to have to ask your regional chair people if they want to see it again or not.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I just provide the venue for you to be able to do it. Okay, then the last section, acknowledgments and signatures. As last year we instituted, the PAG chair and administrators don't sign the form. Okay, you don't have to do that. What you are certifying is that you've shared the report with the chair of your PAG. Okay, and you'll say yes, and if no, for whatever reason, then you need to explain, because I'm sure that's going to be a red flag for the accreditation review folks as to why you're not sharing it with your PAG, but you'll share that. So you can share it, verbally. It's not anything else that would need to be looked at, but you're certifying that you have. So I'm going to say yes, the name of the PAG chair, name of the supervisor. Then what BoardEffect asks for is your signature. So as an electronic signature works, your initials are your electronic signature. Okay, so now I filled out the form, but I could either save progress. Let's say I went through and 2 questions caught me off guard. I just need to save it. I'm going to go do my research and then come back. I can save it and then come back into it. I'll show you. So here it says progress saved successfully. And if I close it out and I go back to my main page, you'll see that all of my same surveys are still here. Okay, they don't go anywhere, and they won't go anywhere even once you submit. They're still there and available to you. But when I go back into it, you'll see that it leaves me open to make any edits that I need to make. Okay, so the boxes are open. It's not a closed form. So now I'm going to go back, and it makes you also sign again the second time. So now I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to submit it. So I left something blank. Okay, so it's going to double check me. So if it has an asterisk and I didn't fill it in, it tells me questions highlighted in red require a response. So now let me see, what did I not do? Have notations to the center been assigned in the past year? No. And now I just say, okay, so it looks like everything else is good. I just skipped one question, and I click on the submit button, and I'm done. Okay, so now you see here is the copy of the report that the reviewers are going to see when they log in. It says completed, all right, and then it has each question and your answer. So if you open the comment box, for example, here's one that I typed. I don't know why you're asking me this. That shows up here at number 3. If there's no answer, it stays as blank, but it shows that it's something that was not answered as opposed to just leaving off the question. Okay, so you go through and you can do this. Now you can print this for those of you who feel like you want a hard copy, because that's something you need by printing your page. You can just right click and then print. You can also highlight the entire thing, cut and paste it into a different document if you need to do that as well. It stays in BoardEffect, so it's not going to go away. It's backed up, but some people do like to have a hard copy, or if they have to share it with an administrator or something afterwards, they can do that. The other thing you can do when all is said and done is if you realize, oh, I left something off, you can come in and click Edit My Responses. Okay, so you have the ability to edit it, unlike with live text where it sort of disappeared after you clicked Submit and you couldn't see it again. Now you can still see it. Okay, once the reviewers are going to do their work, you won't be able to get in and make any changes to it unless they ask you to do that. But right now, you're able to edit it when you go in there. Okay, so that's this part. This is all done, and you've done that. If you have a component or a satellite, you would then go back and do that particular form as well. And those are a little bit different because it doesn't ask for all the same information, but most of it is there. Any questions on filling out the form before I go into uploading documents? No, everybody good?
Yeah, mine's about uploading documents, so I'll wait.
Okay, that's what I'm going to jump to now. So from the main page, to upload documents, we go to the library. Okay, so we click on Library, and we go to Other Files, and you'll see that there are 3 areas: meeting books, handbooks, and archives. This is BoardEffect stuff that we're not using, but below it, you'll see a folder that I added for your center that says Annual Report 2016 Supporting Documentation. I click on the folder to open it. This is from my previous demo, so let me just do that. And there are 2 different ways that I can upload documents, okay? One, and I think the easiest way, is to drag and drop. Okay, so if I have a document on my desktop, I can just drag it over, and if I put it in this little box here, you see the rectangular box changing color as I do that? Mm-hmm. Okay? I've now uploaded the document. There's nothing else I have to do with it. This is the document I just put in. It can take Word documents, it can take PDFs, it can, whatever needs to be there. It gives the date and time that I uploaded it. So if I have multiple things or different versions, I can see which one was the latest. and it says who added it. So that if I have a reviewer, it's putting something up. So if this were a 5-year review, for example, and they were putting in a Part 1 report, you would see who uploaded the Part 1 report. It would tell you. Is there a question?
So Mark, since we're at a system center and we're going to do component sites, we just do that for each one. And can I upload one?
You just froze on me.
Mhm.
You just froze, so I missed the question.
Oh, so I'm in a system center. So can I just upload the main one and then go back and work on the others and then upload the others later?
Yeah, this is only supporting documents. So these are clinical placement agreements, educational placement agreements, or things like that. Your form is already done, and you can do that anytime you want to. This is only if you have additional documentation.
Oh, okay.
Based on everything else. This is, yeah, if you don't have any documents that fall into like Appendix 2s or all the other stuff that's delineated in the list, you don't have to do this part.
Reporting documentation, got it.
Okay? Now, so then the other way to do this, upload and click for more options, actually does the same thing. I don't know why they have it twice, but they do. So if I click on the upload button, it brings up a window where I would browse, find my file that I want to upload, double click, and now it brings it here. What this version can do is I can change the title, because one of the things that's important when you upload is that you title your document appropriately so that a reviewer would know what they're looking for. So if it's a clinical placement agreement, you want to title it specifically, or an educational placement agreement, or an appendix, whatever it is. But you can do this by changing the name here. So if I decide I want to call this the clinical placement agreement, my original file is not here. This is just a copy of my file, but this is what I want it to be called when it gets uploaded. So if I click Save, now you'll see I have 2 documents. Now they're the exact same document, but with different names, because I changed the name on it. All right, so I can have it called whatever I want to, even though my original still says My BoardEffect Welcome on my computer. I didn't change anything there. So it's sort of like a save as that you're putting up there for it to make sense. Now the other reason why it's important is that assuming this works for everybody and we adopt this, in 3-4 years, when you have a 5-year review or a 10-year review and you need to reference older documents, you'll want to find them here on BoardEffect. And if you just title them, you know, annual report, and it doesn't tell you what it is, you're going to have to then go back and look at everything. So it makes sense to sort of plan your filing system ahead of time in thinking about it. If you put up the wrong document, you can easily delete it. Okay? So it's very easy. It'll ask you to confirm. Yes, I want to delete it. So now it's gone. Let's say I put a name and realize I left the date off. So now I'm going to put a date. I'm going to save it. It doesn't change my document or anything, but I can easily just change the name of the document. Okay, and that's my folder here. Now, as we expand, we'll have more folders. So when I go through this, next time you'll see 2016 and then 2015. We'll import stuff from live text. We'll put that in there. The commission action reports from the commissions will also then be uploaded into BoardEffect so that we're not emailing them anymore, and they don't have to worry about going to an email address that doesn't work or things getting blocked or lost. You'll be able to come in here to find them all. They'll all be organized and everything else here, so you have it all in one place. So that way if the supervisor leaves the center, all of your documents are here. Marian.
So this is probably another question for accreditation, but you're saying we no longer have to keep a copy of our annual report on file because it will always be here from 2016 on.
That is correct. And now accreditation may say keep a local copy, but if you have this is all electronic copies, all completely okay with everything. And as long as we're using this, it's fine. It's backed up. If the the commission says we're not going to use it anymore, then we'll download the materials and have them so that you won't have to worry about it. Right. And then when you're done with this, when you're done uploading, you've closed the window, and you can go back to your home page, which is your center page, and you're back to the beginning. And that eventually is it.
I'm sure I'll find a way to complicate it, but this looks great, Mark.
Thank you. I'm sure somebody, it can be complicated, I'm sure, but once you get in, you realize it's pretty straightforward, I think, and you know, we tried to make it easier so there's no PDFs, not worrying about computers. It's fully HIPAA compliant, so it should work in every hospital to go into. You don't have a username and password. You just have to be logged into the regular database as if you're registering units. So that, you know, should work well for people.